Hey guys, welcome. Today for mobility, all you're gonna need is a place to sit, somewhere comfortable. You could do this in your living room, bedroom, garage. You're not gonna need a whole lot of space. You'll be seated the entire time. And the only tool you will need is a lacrosse ball today. Or if you don't have a lacrosse ball, tennis ball will work just great as well. So today what we're gonna work on is an area I tend to neglect because for me, this is particularly uncomfortable. It's below your knees. So your shins, your calves, and your feet. If you took mobility with me before, you know how much I stress the importance of taking care of your feet, right? They're your base, they're your foundation, they're everything, really. If you don't have a great foundation, everything else really isn't gonna come together. So a lot of the time, when you squat, you should squat if you can barefooted. Just, when you're stretching or mobilizing, see how your feet look how they're placed. Are they nice and spread out? A lot when we're wearing shoes all day long, especially ladies, and those heels and our feet are all squashed together, it really just creates a bunch of tension in your toes and your tendons and your ligaments and all that fascia in your foot. So really, we should ideally be working on our feet daily for 5 to 10 minutes. So, and if you're a big runner, those shin splints that people complain about a lot, calves, a lot of that will lead upstream as well. So knees down, shins, calves, feet today, and a lacrosse ball is what you'll need. So you're gonna start, like I said, seated. We're gonna start with your shins, the front part of your leg here. So all I want you to do is I want you to, obviously you find your shin bone, very prevalent. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna work along the side of it. So the outside of your shin bone. So you really wanna try, when we use this ball, to feel like you're getting right up next to that shin bone and you're really working that fascia, that muscle, all that tissue right next to that shin bone, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're going to just be on your knees, what's comfortable for you. If you need a pillow or something softer, if you have bad knees, if the floor is too much, please go ahead and do that. But we're just gonna take the lacrosse ball. We're gonna do about 4 passes, maybe 5 up your shin, that's up to you. So I want you to start the base of your shin here and just get that lacrosse ball placed right there, right next to your shin, like I said, right next to your shin bone, and just get that ball placed in there. And just do a little small movements, don't have to do much, side to side. You can just let it sit there for a second. And if you want to add some pressure, you can kind of gently go back and forth. Just adding some pressure onto that ball. You're going to find your place where you want to stop, and that's enough. But try to really stay there. Try not to yet go up and down that shin yet. Just spend a few moments here. Then we're going to go up, or like I said, 4 passes. So again, just move along that shin bone. Find that muscle tissue there, that fascia. It gets really uncomfortable, especially if you guys have shin splints, if you run a lot. This is really going to be beneficial for you. So then there again, about 1 inch up. Keep it along that shin bone and just let it sit there for a second. And then you can do a little side to side movement, small little up and down, but really try to just keep it in that concentrated area. And then again, if you want to do some back and forth, you put some weight on it, come off of it. Whatever you need. Some people just want to sit here. That's fine. 3rd pass, right in the middle of your shin there. Okay, this is where I kind of like to flatten out a little bit because this is where it's uncomfortable for me. So I like to just let it sit there for a second and breathe. Take a few deep breaths. Remember, using your breath is huge in mobility. A few inhales and exhales, long, long, long. And I really don't need a lot of movement for me personally. I do a few side to side. Light pressure for me is enough. Again, you be the gauge of where you want to go. If you can sit all the way back, good for you, that's fantastic. And then again, last pass, just move it up your shin as high as you want. Stay along that shin bone, never on the bone. Remember, we're staying right next to it. We're just tracing that shin bone on the outside. And get that ball set. Again, just move it around, get your body used to what's happening. Kind of desensitize the area. And then you can try a few back and forth, some small side to side. If you want to add some pressure. Okay, great. So you did about 4 passes up your shin. We didn't spend very long there. Maybe 30 seconds each pass, okay? So once you go through all 4 passes, now I want you to take that ball and just kind of trace where you just mobilized all that tissue right next to your shin bone. It's kind of like how you use the foam roller, but we're using the lacrosse ball to just go up and down along that shin. All that tissue and musculature, you just pressed out, okay? Awesome. So spend about a minute there, just going up and down, and if that's too uncomfortable, you can always flip over to your side and you can just use your hand and get that ball in there. But I want you to first do the 4 passes where you start at the base and you move along up. So you just want to go right outside of your shin bone, start here, just get that pressure like I showed you. You could do the back to forth, getting some pressure on your leg, coming off of it. And then second pass, same thing for about 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Third pass, fourth pass, and then when you're done, get it all together, up and down. Get that blood flow. Should feel a little bit better since you desensitized everything. And then just mash that out for about a minute. So I want you to go ahead and pause this video. And if you want to spend more time on one side, fantastic, keep doing that. Otherwise, move over to your left leg after you pause this. Same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4 passes, 30 to 40 seconds each, and then all mashing it out for about 1 to 2 minutes, staying on the outside of that shin bone, getting all that tissue and that musculature there. So when you're done with that, go ahead and unpause that and we'll come back. So get both shins and come on back. Okay, second exercise today. We're going to do our calves. Now this is my least favorite. Personally, area to mobilize of my body. Very sensitive calves. So there's a few different ways. For me, a foam roller really isn't enough. It's just a little too broad of an area. I like to there's 2 ways you can do this. We're gonna do a method called bone saw, or you can use the lacrosse ball. So I'll show you two different methods, and you can choose what you want for where you're at today. So bone saw really it sounds horrible, and it is slightly horrible. It's just really what it sounds like. You're using your shin bone to mobilize your calf, okay? So what you wanna do, if you're gonna start on your right side, you're gonna take your left leg, cross it underneath you, and see, like I said, right using my shin bone there, I'm just gonna sit back down, and what that is doing is that left shin bone is digging into my right calf up top. So what I'm doing is I'm using that shin bone to get into that musculature of my calf. And all you need to do here is go back and forth, adding pressure, releasing pressure. Trust me, you'll feel this. You can do a little side to side once you are on the pressure to kind of get that shin bone a little bit more into that calf, that musculature. Okay, so this method, bone saw, I want you to do 3 passes. We're gonna start up high in that shin, and then you can move your leg down, and you sit back down into the medium part of your calf, the more sensitive part. And again, adding pressure, releasing pressure. You'll notice the minute you sit down on that shin bone into that calf, what this feels like. So just take a few seconds again to desensitize the area. Get your breath going nice and slow, calm your body down, back and forth. Now I have to come in and out of this when I do my calves quite often because my calves are extremely sensitive. And then one more pass, third pass, just at the base of that calf. Same thing, once you come down onto that shin bone, releasing the pressure by coming up off of it, and then adding the pressure by sitting back down onto it. Now, that is the first method I wanted to show you, the bone saw, 3 passes. Get that shin up, high, medium, down, okay? About a minute each if you can tolerate it. And like I said, you come off the pressure, you come back into it, you can move side to side, you'll feel it immediately. Or some people don't have that mobility to get that leg kicked under them and sit back down. You can use your lacrosse ball. Same thing. Place it there. Just like similar to what we were doing with your shin. You're not going to be able to sit down as much on this. And just get that lacrosse ball in there and just this is more of a small movement, back and forth. Top of the calf there, as you can see. You're just going to place that ball there and use your body weight to sit back down on the ball and get into that calf. Again, 3 passes, just then move it down. And use the back of your hamstring there to push down and get into that calf, up and down. And you can move that ball around if you find a spot in your calf that needs a little bit more attention. Move that ball around. Try to sit back as much as you can and use your breath. With every exhale, remember, you want to try to relax, get a little bit deeper into that ball. So those are the 2 methods. Just pick one, pick both if you need it. 3 passes at least. You can always do more passes, guys, if you need more. I just recommend 3 usually so that you can get the top, middle, bottom part of your muscle group that you're mobilizing. So pick one, start on one leg, try the bone saw, try the ball, see which one feels better for you today, and then go ahead and spend about a minute on each pass, okay? So top of your calf, middle of your calf, bottom of your calf, either method. So go ahead, pause this, do your right leg and your left leg of your calf, and then come on back and we'll work on our feet. Okay. Last but not least, your feet. This is when you can get comfortable. You're watching TV, drinking some wine, reading a book, whatever. Very easy, but let's not neglect our feet. Just get comfortable, sit down, cross-legged, whatever you need. We'll start on the right or left side, pick a foot. So what I want you to do, now some of you may not be able to do this, but I want you to do what you can. So your feet, your toes specifically, are like fingers. You should be able to easily spread all your toes apart and bend them and flex them. So what I want you to do is I want you to try to interlace your fingers in between your toes, okay? So you might want to just start with the very tips of your fingers. See how this feels. Just get them in between each toe. As you can see, that's creating space. That's allowing my toes to spread apart, letting all these tendons and this tissue in here just relax. If that feels okay, then if you can, try to get all your toes to the top as close as you can to your knuckles. And here, you're just gonna move them around. You can, push your toes back, which will help release the bottom part of your foot there. And then down, and just kind of move it around. But really, just getting those toes nice and spread is gonna be so beneficial to your feet. So I want you to spend about a minute here. And if it's uncomfortable, come in and out of it. Try it for a few seconds, give your toes a break, then try to interlace them one more time. And back and forth, and just move those toes around. Okay, so that is the first thing you can do for your toes and your feet. The second thing is what I call toe splits. They're exactly what they sound like. You're gonna start with your big toe and your next toe, and you're just gonna have them do the splits. And you're gonna reverse. So take your big toe, push it down towards your arch, take your next toe and split it. Nice and gently, okay? Don't let your feet cramp up. Try to relax. If you get foot cramps at night, this will help you a lot. And spend about 10 seconds, and then reverse the splits. Keep those same toes. And then you just move right down your foot. So then start with your next set of toes and just reverse it, split them. 10 to 15 seconds, stay in those same set and reverse the splits. And right on down your toes. Stay with that last toe, grab that next toe, and you're just gonna go back and forth, up and down your foot. You can do this as much as you want. Back and forth. As long as you want. You can hold it longer. You can do a couple passes up and down your toes if you need it, especially if you wear really constricting shoes. During the day, I recommend doing this every night, just getting your toes nice and loose, and just back and forth. Okay. Now what I want you to do is take your toes and just push them back as far as you can. And while you're here, grab that lacrosse ball while you have your toes pushed back and get that ball in the arch of your foot and just roll it around. Side to side is really beneficial because your fascia runs vertically down your feet. So if you're going side to side, remember, against the grain, you're gonna break up all that soft tissue, that fascia, much easier. Go down to your heel, spend some time in your heel, getting that ball around there. Just do some nice circle motions. You can even go up and down your foot, but try to keep your toes pushed back while you're doing this. It's really exposing the underside of your foot, that arch there that gets tight on a lot of people. So do this after you did the toe lacing and then the toe splits. Then push your toes back, get that ball in there and work out the bottom of your foot. Bottom of your feet, excuse me. And if you want to add a little bit more pressure, you can stand up and actually stand on the ball. You can do this at work too, where you're sitting at your desk. You just take a lacrosse ball and you start underneath your toes and you just kind of go side to side. Call it windshield, like a windshield wiper. You go from your big toe out to your little toe. And you just go side to side and you move it further down your foot as you go. You get into your arch. This is just more pressure. If you want to add more pressure, you can stand up and do this and actually stand on it and kind of mash out that bottom of your foot. Really get down that whole foot all the way down to your heel. If you have plantar fasciitis, which I suffer from, this is a great tool, great exercise to help get into that heel a little bit. It's a little uncomfortable. And then to finish it, I want you guys to take that lacrosse ball and get it right there in your Achilles there at the base of your heel and just do some nice ankle circles. So you're gonna place that ball there, and then once it's there, just roll your foot. Do about 10 circles one way, 10 circles the other way. And just let that ball sink back into that Achilles back there. And if you want to do some kind of side to side motion afterwards, it might feel nice. And then just get back into that kind of lower calf again, just to finish it off. Okay, finish it off with your other side. So move over to your left foot. And again, we're just going to start with the toes, okay? So start with your toes. You're going to go ahead and do that finger lacing. So if you want to start with the tips of your fingers just to see how this works, or even if you can just get a few, start there. Just get what you can and just loosen those toes up, relax those toes. Just let them spread nice and open. And if this works, then go ahead and go towards your knuckles if you can. And then start moving your toes around. Keep your foot nice and relaxed. Okay, then spend as much time as you guys want here. I'm not trying to rush you. I just tried to go through these so that these videos aren't 45, 50 minutes long. But I want to give you all the exercises first so that you guys can do them at your own pace and spend as much time as you guys want. So then the next thing you're going to want to do is the toe splits. Push your big toe one way, the next toe the other way. And remember, back and forth. Spend 10 to 15 seconds and then reverse the splits for the toes. And then, like I said, work your way down. Next set of toes. Split them one way, split them the other way. All the way down. Don't forget your little pinky toe. And if you want to go back up and down a few times, awesome. If you want to go back into the interlacing your fingers, moving those toes around. But then what I want you guys to do to end it is to take those toes back, really expose the bottom of your foot there, that arch, and then take that lacrosse ball and get it excuse me, get it to start digging into there. You can start going up and down, getting into that arch, and then remember, get into that side to side motion. Get into that heel, move that ball around there a bit. And like I said, if this isn't enough, go ahead, stand up, or just like I'm doing, stay seated, but add a little bit more pressure on that ball. You can use your hand to kind of push down and get that side to side going, and work it all the way up your foot. Get into that arch. And then also don't forget that heel area. Heel is super important. Sometimes I just like to stand. If I'm standing straight up, I'll just stand and put pressure on my heel onto the ball. And that really will help my plantar fasciitis quite a bit. And then finish. Get that ball right into that Achilles and do some ankle circles, foot circles. So just, like I said, 10, 15, whatever you need. One way, reverse it. Kind of do some side to side after you're done, and if you want to finish it off by getting back into that kind of lower calf from side to side, just let it sit. Some flexion and release. That might be great too, but really beneficial for you runners too. So that's it for today. I hope that this helps you guys. I know it seems like it's not a lot, but it really is. You really need to take care of your shins, your calves, and your feet. They're so important, obviously. Like I said, they're the base, they're the structure to so much of what athletes do. So lacrosse ball, mat, floor, 3 passes. Take your time, guys. Pause this video as much as you need, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot.